Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. Is Saw 11 officially dead? It looks like maybe, but I don't really believe it. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But before we do, I want to ask you to do something for me. Head on over and check out my personal channel. Yes, the LTE Annex. You can find it at Brian Conkle on YouTube. This is my second channel. I set it up a couple years ago. For a while, it was my running channel. I got rid of all that, and I set it up as something else, got rid of that. But right now, I'm sort of positioning it as sort of a adjacent, a Let's Talk Entertainment adjacent channel with various things that maybe didn't fit here, maybe some things I want to test out here. Right now, mainly, I've been sharing some of my poetry, so it's going to be a work in progress, but I think you might enjoy it, so be sure to subscribe to my second channel. But all right then, moving on to this Saw news report. Saw 11 may be canceled. Horror franchise's future seems to be in jeopardy. Does a horror movie franchise ever end? Not really. So I don't believe this in sort of the long term, but in the short term, it could be over. The future suddenly isn't looking too bright for Saw 11. The 11th movie in the Saw franchise was originally supposed to be released on September 27th, 2024. Though it was pushed back to September 2025 in April of 2024. Saw director Kevin Greutert has been announced as the movie's director. Going to scroll down here, get to the meat of the story. According to an anonymous source speaking to Bloody Disgusting, one whom the outlet has verified as being close to production of its newest sequel, Saw 11 is totally dead. It's 100% over, the source said, almost a year now. According to Bloody Disgusting source, everything went sideways in January 2024 when the producers started fighting with one another. One producer tried to plow forward past the disagreements while another put up roadblocks. The reason for the arguments remains unclear at this time. See, that's why I'm sort of skeptical of this claim. It seems like if there were actual arguments, they'd be very clear. Lionsgate reportedly didn't have anyone to smooth over the disagreement between the producers. And of course, producers are one thing, but I'm sure Lionsgate must have a substantial stake in this. I don't know how much power they have to force these things through with new crew and cast, or where the ownership ultimately lies, but usually these things can get worked out for the sake of money. This isn't the first time that rumors of Saw 11 being in trouble have popped up online. Scream magazine posted last year that, according to a reliable source, the movie won't likely be able to make its September 2025 release date due to significant problems behind the scenes. What this means for the future of Saw franchise is also unclear at this time. It means you're going to get a movie, but it might take a few more years. That's what it means, really. Bloody Disgusting's article notes that if Saw 11 is ultimately canceled, the franchise might sell somewhere else, but it will likely start over if so. So apparently, there must be ownership there with the producers, and then it sounds like Lionsgate must have some sort of deal as far as the distribution, I would assume. Greed and Ego won, Bloody Disgusting source concluded. Since Lionsgate has not made any formal announcement, Saw 11 still currently has a September 26, 2025 release date at this time. You know, if they were in production right now, they could probably still film the movie and get it done and get it ready and get it released around that release date. It doesn't take that long for these little horror films, rather, to get to the screen if the pre-production's already done. And it seems like a lot of that could have been done. It sounds like they were quite a ways into this production, or pre-production, before they sort of pulled the plug, if they pulled the plug. So, yeah, you know, I'm a little bit miffed by this. You hear this a lot, but there's so little specific in the report that sort of leaves me wondering. But ultimately, you're going to get more Saw, whether it's the planned Saw 11 or it's something else, somewhere else, different studio, somewhere down the road. They're not going to let this die, at least not for too long. There's too much money. It's too profitable. For me, the first one is still the best. That is a bona fide classic. There's been diminishing returns with high points throughout the rest of the franchise, but it's cool to see franchises live on, especially in the horror world where people don't really complain too much about the franchises continuing. You know, if you pull out a sequel like they're doing apparently Young Guns 3 35 years after the fact, that's a little bit weird, but nobody nobody blinks when you pull out another sequel to a beloved horror franchise. But I think ultimately there are going to be more films. You may have to wait another year. They'll get this hammered out. Greed wins out overall, I assume, in Hollywood. But yeah, what do you think? Is this true? Do you care? Will this film make it to the screen? Will it get canceled and then pop up somewhere else? Let us know. I can't see Lionsgate letting it go, but you decide. Let us know in the comment section below, and I will see you again later. Until next time, keep it creepy.